Mr. Watts, why did you kill your wife and 2 children?
Mr. Watts, did you confess?
Hello and welcome to the Patreon channel of True Crime Rocket Science. This is episode 48 in the Phone Data Review. Episode 47 really dealt with one of the most fascinating aspects in the Watts case. It was the way that the agents figured out sort of how to break into Chris Watts' mind, and it's a really interesting process that they went through. It is something that they gradually sort of invaded and gradually wore him down. He didn't really realize it, but he was gradually giving up psychological territory, and before the end of the day he'd sort of given up the ghost. He'd literally thrown in the towel in his own story, and he did it all voluntarily. And I really believe that that exact same psychology played into the plea deal, where the prosecutors and the defense attorneys kind of thought, I wonder whether this guy, if he's told to do something in terms of this is beyond the confession, if he's told that he must take this deal and he must go to jail, whether he'll do that too. And that's exactly what he did. So the previous episode 47 is really quite an interesting one regarding this. It's also covered in some detail in the book Two-Face Rape of Cassandra. Interestingly, also during the interrogation, Agent Coda talks about the 2 Chris's. And I think it is just intuitive that you see that there are 2 people. There's the nice guy and then the shadowy other figure that is held back. And that is true of a lot of people. A lot of people have a kind of a public face, a public persona, and beneath that they hide their true selves. In today's episode, we're going to really look at the end of the 15th, the 16th, and the 17th, which is the first court appearance of Chris Watts. We are in a way beyond the phone data review. There's a little bit left to go into, which we'll get to on the 19th, which is the next episode after this one. But we basically are reaching the sort of conclusion of this series. There's just a couple of things that I want to cover on the way to episode 50, which will be the last episode.
Mr. Watts, why did you kill your wife and 2 children?
Mr. Watts, did you confess?
Mr. Watts, why did you kill your wife and 2 children?
Mr. Watts, did you confess?
So that sound clip is from raw video from the 16th of August, where Chris Watts did kind of a perp walk into Weld County Court after his arrest. And I think he did another one. He appeared in court again a couple of days later. So to be specific, I think he appeared in court the first time on the 16th, which was shortly after his arrest and the day of his arrest, and then again on the 21st, which I believe was a Tuesday. So that clip you heard, which when you play it over and over again, it's got a sort of a hypnotic effect. And when you watch it with the video as well, it's even more hypnotic, just the words and Watts, and then also his lawyer, who's almost like his handler, who sort of doesn't want him obviously talking to the media, and doesn't really react. Now, quite a huge change from the Sermon on the Porch, where he was available to a whole phalanx of reporters. And now suddenly his life has changed. He's a different man, a different person. It's the different face to Chris Watts, and even his clothing is different. He's in an orange jumpsuit. He's shackled, and that is him for the rest of his life. I don't think he thought that far when he was even sitting in the cubicle. I think he was just trying to get through the day. In any event, let's go through the final kind of the final parts of the timeline. Shanann's body was exhumed at 2300 on August 15th, about the same time Watts was arrested and taken into custody.
Chris, someone stand up for me. I'm going to have you face that wall over there. Yep, just face it. Lift up your hands. Okay, you don't have anything on you, right? Okay, nothing in your pockets? Okay, go ahead and face that other wall behind you. I'm just going to search you real quick. Spread your legs. Further. Okay, turn around and face me. No earrings, necklaces, anything like that? Okay. Let's walk up this way.
So those first moments where his final freedoms are being deprived, the freedom of movement, the freedom to go whichever way you want to go, and now he's being shepherded to, with a threat of force. If he doesn't comply, if he sort of says, no, I'm not going to go that way, I want to go this way, well, he won't be allowed to. The cops have got weapons, from tasers to others. If he doesn't do as they say, he can be in a world of trouble, including pain. So he's just lost his freedom. He doesn't have freedom of movement. He doesn't have freedom of choice. He can't do what he wants to do anymore. And I think those initial moments where, first of all, where he faces the wall, then the cuffs sort of click loudly around his wrists. He feels that belt against his waist. And of course, after all of that, then he's sort of physically patted down. He physically feels these hands of the officer sort of patting him down, and it's an invasion, but he can't do anything about it. He's lost. He's lost his life. And this is the irony. This is the cruel, tragic, but just irony of him accounting for his sins. This is what it looks and feels like. From the station in Frederick, Watts was taken into Weld County Jail by Officer James. The same officer had taken Watts's father early in the evening to local hotels on Firestone Boulevard.